My people, we are back at it again. We are back at it again. I want to come to you guys today and really just talk to you about. Now, it's going to be kind of controversial, but this video is really going to be made for all of the young guys that are 25, 30 years old, thinking about marrying, thinking about marriage. And I come to you as a person that is married. I also come to you as a person whose parents were married for 50 plus years. My wife's parents were married for 50 plus years. My father's parents were married for 50 plus years. My mother's parents were married for 50 plus years. So I'm coming to you today to the young men on how to properly choose your wife. It's something that's not really talked about. If you look at the lowest divorce rates in America, um, Asians have the lowest divorce rates, and Indians have the lowest divorce rates. If you look at the highest divorce rates, even though Black Americans are 13% of the population, we've got the highest divorce rates. And so I'm going to come to you to explain to you how to properly choose a woman if you are dating someone that you want to marry. And first of all, you have to learn and to accept the fact that you've got to inspect what you expect. You've got to inspect what you expect. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when my parents were young, before they got married, they had something that they did that was called courting. And courting was actually it's dating, but you are in a situation where you're learning about a woman's background. You're learning about her parents. You're spending time with her. You're going over her house for Sunday dinner. You're going out on dates with her. You're meeting different people in her family. So one of the things, when you inspect what you expect, you've got to understand and realize that if you are planning on spending the next 25, 30, 40, 50 plus years with somebody, you've got to at least spend some time in the beginning stages of getting to know her. So what are some of the things that my parents did that I also did that you need to do? Because remember now, uh, the lowest divorce rates are Eastern Indians and Asians, and you got to be doing things that people have done who have had success when it comes to marriage. Now, one of the things you need to do is you need to. It would be a good idea if you find a young lady that you want to marry. It would be a good idea that you spend some time around her family. And these are the questions that you've got to ask yourself. Is her mom and dad still married? That's very important. Are her parents still married? The second thing you've got to ask yourself is this: marriage is a lot of work, and you've got to ask yourself this: are her parents happily married? Now, how do you find out if her parents are happily married? You've got to spend time at her house. You got to find out when Sunday dinner is. You got to find out when her parents are cooking meals, and you've got to go spend time over there. You've got to watch and observe the interactions between her parents. One of the things you've got to really understand and realize is this: people learn in two ways. All people learn in two ways. You learn based on what you observe, and you learn from what you hear. You learn from what you observe, and you learn from what you hear. I don't care what it is that you're learning. And what you observe and what you hear constantly, you're being programmed. And that's becoming a way that you do things now and later on in life. So you've got to make sure that you are spending time around this person that you're interested in. Go over her house, eat dinner with her, Spend a lot of time with her. Observe the interactions between her parents. How does her mother talk to her father? How does her father talk to her mother? All of these things are very important because I'm telling you, if you're a young man out there and you're looking to marry a woman, if her mother is cursing her father out, calling him, every other word in the book out of his name, 9 times out of 10, because she observed that growing up, she's going to be calling you names in 10 to 15 years if you marry her. So if she calls her father all kind of motherfuckers and bitch this and bitch that, okay, in 10 to 15 years, she's going to be calling you a motherfucker and a bitch this and a bitch that. Because all people learn based on what they observe, and it becomes a part of them. This is another thing you gotta look at. 9 times out of 10, the way her mother looks, that's how she's gonna look when she gets that age. 9 times out of 10, if the way her mother looks, that's the way she's gonna look when she gets that age. So if her mom is fat and she's thin now, 9 times out of 10, she's gonna be fat when she gets her mother's age. So you gotta accept that. You're looking at your potential wife. You're looking at her 20, 30, 40 years from now based on how her mother looks, because that's how she's gonna look. Okay? You gotta spend time in those areas if you're really interested in marrying her in that regard. Another thing that's important, are her parents divorced? Okay, are you marrying a woman that's from a single family home? Now, that is kind of a red flag, but it doesn't have to be. Now, here's why. Okay, it doesn't have to be. Now, you need to find out if the woman that you want to marry, if she comes from a single family home, find out if she has brothers and sisters. If she has brothers and sisters, meaning the mother has brothers and sisters, you need to find out, are those brothers and sisters married? Okay? Because like I said, you have to learn, you're learning from the programs that you're taking in through sight, okay? And you're learning by ear. So everything that girl, that woman is learning, that young woman is learning, she's learning by what she sees. So if her mother has brothers and sisters, are they married? Because she could be observing how to be your potential wife and what a wife should be from her brothers and sisters, because they're married, even though her mother is single. That's a big red flag if she comes from a single family home. And I know a lot of people may get upset with this, but it's a big red flag, because you have to learn how to be a wife from someplace, somewhere. Somebody has to teach you through what you're seeing them do on a regular basis. Okay, that's very important. Okay, another thing, does her father have brothers and sisters? Okay, that's very important as well. Are her father's brothers and sisters married? That's very important, because she could have learned how to be a wife by spending a lot of time around her aunts and uncles, even though she's from a single family home. That's very, very important. Okay? Very, very important. Now, a lot of people will, meet a young lady and she's fine, and, she, you love her, you fall in love with her, and you're not taking any of this advice that I'm giving you. Now, remind you, I come from a family whose parents were married for 50 plus years. I've said it before and I'm gonna say it again. My wife's parents were married for 50 plus years. Okay. My grandparents, my mom's father and mother were married for 50 plus years. Okay. Also, my father's parents were married for 50 plus years. So that gives me some ability as far as experience in knowing how you need to choose a wife. And this doesn't just go for the men out there. This goes for the women too. You got to observe and take note of where it is that your potential mate comes from, because they're observing, okay? They're listening, because that's how we all learn. They're observing, all of this throughout their entire lives on how they're going to be a good wife or a good husband based on how they were raised. Okay. They're bringing all of that. Okay. And you're bringing all of that, what I like to call baggage, into a household. Okay. I'm trying to condense the time frames of you being upset and saving you having a system that's in place. And and remember, this system is an acronym for save yourself stress, time, energy, and money. Save yourself stress, time, energy, and money. And it's very important that you inspect what you expect. It's too many people that are getting married and divorced today. And the reason we've got the highest divorce rates in the black community because we don't inspect what we expect. You got to take time, okay? Take the time out, spend time with someone who you are interested in marrying, and make an honest effort in learning about the person before you marry. Okay, people are not learning enough about their potential, the person that they want to marry. Here's another thing that's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. It's going to rub a lot of pastors the wrong way. It's going to rub a lot of churches the wrong way. Here's another thing. Okay, it's okay to shack up with somebody before you marry them. Now, why is it okay to shack up with somebody before you marry? Because, like I said, you need to inspect what you expect. Okay? If you go live with somebody, if you go live with a woman, you'll learn about her. Vice versa, the woman will learn about the man. You'll learn about, are they clean people? Do they keep the house clean? Are they junky? Are they responsible? You'll learn all of these things by shacking up with somebody because remember, you want to inspect what you expect. So don't listen to a lot of these pastors around here saying stop, especially in the black community. They'll tell people you need to stop shacking up with people. Okay. And we got the highest divorce rates. Okay. You think it's because people are shacking up? No, they don't have a damn thing to do with it. Okay. People are not inspecting what they expect. And when you shack up with somebody, that'll put you in a position, and it puts you in a position where you can learn about a person. Okay, go live with a person if that's what you need to do for a year to 2 years. That'll definitely give you a sign on whether or not you want to live with them for the next 30 or 40 years. This is the bottom line. Okay, you got to inspect what you expect. I hate to keep saying that, but you have to start inspecting what you expect. Courting for whatever reason is not the same as my mom said, when she was coming along 40 or 50 years ago. People don't know each other. You got to learn about the person that you are intending to spend the rest of your life with. Okay. Another thing, okay, for the men out there, you need to find out who wears the pants in the family. Okay. Meaning when you go over to her house and you find out if she has brothers and sisters, if her parents have brothers and sisters, who wears the pants in the family? Do the women wear the pants in the family, or do the men wear the pants in the family? Are the women being helpmates, or are they being bosses? Okay. Do you want to? I've been an entrepreneur all my life. Okay. My parents have been entrepreneurs they were entrepreneurs their lives. My grandparents were entrepreneurs. So if you are a highly ambitious person, it's very important that you spend time around a woman, and it's very important that you spend time around the people where she came from, because that'll tell you exactly what she has observed her entire life. That'll tell you exactly if she is going to honor her man as the provider in her house and as the boss in his house. That'll also show you, does her father honor her mother? It'll also show you, does her mother honor her father? In other words, does her mother honor her father and her husband as the man? And does the man honor his wife as his woman? And do they respect each other? You've got to observe all of this, and you've got to see all of these interactions. Now, I know there are people watching this video that will say, You don't have to do all that. Yes, you do. Well, you don't. And you can go ahead and go and marry somebody without doing all of that. But I'm telling you, 10, 15, 20 years potentially is coming. And it can be a lot of hell for you and unhappiness, or it can be of value to you and it can help you. That's the way you got to look at it. Marriage is not a joke. My wife told me she was talking to her girlfriend, one of her girlfriends, about a week ago, and her girlfriend, she said, uh, she asked her girlfriend, she said, so how's marriage coming? And she said, it's just like a business. It's work, and it is. Okay, but you got to make sure that you're spending time around the person that you want to marry, and you're spending time around her parents, and you're spending time around her family, because like it or not, when you marry someone, you're marrying her family as well. Like it or not, when you marry someone, you're marrying her family as well. So why not go and see how her family is? Does her family influence her decisions? If they do, that's another red flag. Okay, because she's marrying you, she's not marrying her family. Okay, that's very important. So there are red flags, and I'm speaking to the men right now, that you gotta look out for before you marry a woman. Okay, whatever she experienced growing up, good or bad, she is going to expect that from you. I like that. Whatever she experienced growing up, good or bad, she is going to expect for you to be, a lot of times, a healing mechanism for that. And that's not your responsibility as a man. And it's not her responsibility as a woman to heal you. It is your responsibility for you to deal with your internal demons, okay, and marry someone and bond with somebody that is going to complement you and bring out the best in you. Contrary to popular belief, it is not a man's responsibility to make a woman happy, and it is not a woman's responsibility to make a man happy. It is the responsibility of a man and a woman to complement each other, to help them to become their best selves. And a lot of people are getting married because they're unhappy, men and women, they're unhappy and they're expecting for the other person to heal them, and that's not their responsibility. If you are broken in the inside and you're a man or a woman, marriage is the last thing that you should be doing. If you are broken in the inside, marriage is the last thing that you should be doing, because it is wrong for you to expect someone to heal you, because you're not man enough or woman enough to deal with your internal demons yourself. Those are your internal demons. Those are not your husband's demons or your wife's demons. Those are your demons. So deal with that shit before you go and try to put that off on somebody else through marriage, because you're getting married because you want somebody to make you happy. That's the worst reason why you should get married. You get married because you want somebody to make you happy. What happens in a year to 2 years when that shit wears off? You still gonna be expecting for that person to make you happy? That's not their responsibility. There's so many people that are getting divorced because they got married off for the wrong damn reasons. They got married because they want somebody to make them happy. And they divorced right now. And they're on their second marriage because they're expecting for that person to make them happy. I was doing a interview. I'm just speaking on the top of my head, and I just thought about this. I was doing an interview. This happened probably 15 years ago. And I would interview individuals, entrepreneurs like myself, who have had a lot of success in business. I mean, most of these guys, people that I was interviewing, I mean, they had net worths of at least $10 million. And this guy had a net worth of about $150 million. I won't name his name because you will know him. He's a business guy. But anyway, I was interviewing him, and in the beginning of the conversation, when I was asking him about his life, um, he said that he went through a devastating divorce. He had been married for about 10 plus years. He said he was riding high. He had finally got to a place financially where he had built a financial wall of protection around his family, and he just really had secured his children's future and secured his wife's future, and he was traveling a lot, because that's just what his business entailed at that time. And he walked into the house one day, and his wife was sitting on the sofa, and she said, "We need to talk." Now, whenever a woman say we need to talk, it's never a good thing. But um, he sat down, and she said, "You don't make. I want a divorce." She said, "I want a divorce." And he was perplexed. He said, "What are you talking about?" She said, I want a divorce." And he said, "Well, why do you want a divorce?" And she said, "Because you don't make me happy anymore." And he gave an answer at the time. I thought it was a dumb answer, but I didn't tell him it was a dumb answer because at the time I was like 26, 27 years old, talking to this hugely successful guy. And she said, "You don't make me happy anymore." And this is what he said. He said, it's not my responsibility to make you happy. And I thought that was the dumbest answer at the time. And the reason I thought it was the dumbest answer at the time is because at 27 years old, I thought it was the responsibility of a man to make his wife happy. And then he went on to tell me this. And I understood what he meant by this. And, the current wife told him this. Now, remind you, his current wife was a life coach. And she said, "You were right to tell her that." And the reason she said that, and she told him, it's not the responsibility of a grown man to make another grown person happy. It's not the responsibility of a grown woman to make a grown man happy. That's their responsibility. It's the responsibility of a grown man or a grown woman to make a child happy. Because a child did not ask to come into this world. So from the ages of 1 to, 18 or 19, it's your responsibility to make that child happy because they don't know how to provide for themselves. And I know it's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way, but it's the truth. It's not the responsibility of a grown person to make another grown person happy. And there's too many people that are getting married for that. You don't get married because you want another person to make you happy. That's your damn responsibility. Period. I told my wife this because men and women are wired differently. Men and women are wired differently. And a lot of men will testify to this. I would love to, and it would make me happy. I would love to go have sex with a different woman every single week. I would love it. Just being honest with you. I'm talking to the men now and the women. I would love it. I got a high sex drive and I love sex. I would love it. That would make me happy. And there's a lot of men listening to this right now. It will make them happy. But based on my vows, I can't do that. Based on my vows, I can't do that. And If I would have married my wife to be happy, that will make me happy. So why shouldn't I do that? It makes me happy. I mean, that kills me when I hear people say, and there are a lot of people that are married right now. There are a lot of people that are married right now that they've got one foot in and one foot out because the person that they're married to is not making them happy. And it's not their responsibility to make them happy, to make you happy. Some of y'all ain't even thought about that. This is a real conversation today. This is a real conversation today. So this is for the young people out there. If you're not happy right now, do not get married. Okay? Marrying somebody and you're unhappy is the equivalent of somebody saying money doesn't make money just makes you more of who you really are. So if you unhappy and you get married, you're gonna really be unhappy. You're gonna be pissed off to the highest, as they say, of festivity. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So if you're dating someone, I always tell people this. I tell young guys this. Go date 2 or 3 women at one time. And like I said, a lot of pastors gonna get upset with this. A lot of churches gonna get upset with this. Your girlfriend might be upset with this. But have you at least 3 women that you are currently dating, if you're thinking about marriage, and spend time with all of those women and her families. And I know a lot of people, they're not gonna like this video because I'm telling women I'm promoting men cheat. No, I'm not. I'm saying that marriage is serious. And I'm saying that you need to date different women, a minimum of 3, okay, at one time, and go spend time around her parents and the people that she grew up with, okay, because you're making a lifetime commitment to someone. And someone is supposedly making a lifetime commitment to you. And these are some things that you have to take in consideration as a person is 21 or 22 or 23, maybe you're 30 or 35 and you're thinking about marriage. Okay? If you get married, you want your marriage to be like Asians and Eastern Indians who have the lowest divorce rates. Not only do Asians and Indians have the lowest divorce rates, but they also have the highest incomes in America. Okay? So maybe if you're interested in marrying a Asian, if you currently are married, dating an Asian girl, or you currently are dating an Eastern Indian woman, maybe this doesn't apply to you, and you don't have to date 3 of them. You dating the right one. Just go on and marry her. But I'm talking about primarily people who are getting married or about to get married, and they're not spending time to get to know the person. You know, they're not spending time around their parents, and you need to do that. And like I said, the way that your girlfriend looks, if you marry her and her mother is 30 years older than her, 9 times out of 10, and my dad told me this, look at her mom. That's how she's gonna look when she gets her age. And you know what? I see my mother-in-law in my wife in so many ways, not just through looks, but how she acts, how she speaks, everything. It's the truth. So I hate it to be so long-winded, but you gotta spend time when you are trying to choose a wife. Because a lot of women today, unfortunately, they want to be the boss. They want to run the household. Okay? And so just spend time with your wife to be and her parents, because if you don't, it could be hell on earth that is coming your way. So with that said, I love y'all. All the guys out there, I love y'all. I mean, spend time around your potential wife's parents and date at least 3 women. Okay. Spend time around all of their families. Okay. If you want to shack up with somebody before you get married, that's a great thing. Don't listen to these pastors and these church people out here telling you not to do that, because you want to inspect what you expect. You want to take the time out, if it takes you a year, if it takes you 2 years, of potentially living with somebody to see if you want to deal with that shit in 15 or 20 years. And when I say shit, you're going to go through a lot of shit in your marriage. And you need to know if you are willing to deal with that. Is that person worthy of your time? You need to learn their bad habits. You need to spend time around them. So with that said, people, I will come back at another time, hopefully with some more value to give you and another bank. So with that said, people, y'all take care. Bye.